Hello, Internet. It is I, Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about It Ends With Us. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. Okay, so this movie is based off of a book from Colleen Hoover that I've never read, and I know like nothing about it all. But apparently, the book is hella popular. I didn't realize how popular until I really looked into it because, like, I think it was looking at its a Wikipedia page for like the novel. Novel came out in 2016, and apparently, as of 2019, it sold like 1 million copies. Which I mean, it's not that's not a small number. When normally you think, oh, it's just like a decent little hit. It wasn't like a phenomenon or anything. But things changed when the book hit TikTok, or specifically Book Talk, a subsection of TikTok. That's when the book started to really spike in popularity. That's when it started like the become like this big thing. And yeah, I'm just like looking at this. It says Ends With Us has over 1 billion tags on TikTok. Like 1 billion tags. That's that is a lot, man. And yeah, like and I've once like TikTok, once it became big there, the novel became big again, and it's apparently it was really popping off in popularity, and it even has a sequel too. And now we're getting like the movie adaptation. So yeah, so the book is extremely popular, and obviously that's going to fuel this movie's box office. A lot of fans are going to be seeing this like day one. So that's a pro, obviously. Another pro is that this movie stars Ryan Reynolds' wife, Blake Lively. I mentioned Ryan Reynolds because this weekend is the battle between this movie and Deadpool and Wolverine. It's the battle between husband and wife. You don't see that happen like ever, but it's just so happened to happen this weekend. But Blake Lively. Okay, so she's been in quite a few movies. First, she started like in the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants movies. Then there was like a Accepted, which was a weird movie that I have seen. I saw it on Netflix one time, and I was like, huh, that was a movie. And then that was the town Green Lantern. This one's important because this is where her and Ryan Reynolds met before they eventually started their relationship and got married. So hey, the Green Lantern, it was good for something. Wasn't good for much of anything, but it was good for their relationship because that's how it started. But moving on from Green Lantern, there's like Savages, Age of Adeline, which did pretty darn well for itself, especially considering like this is like Blake Lively as like the leading like face of a movie, and then you had The Shallows in 2016, which did even better. I don't know about Cafe Society. I think that was more of an ensemble. A Simple Favor was like her and Anna Kendrick. That one did quite all right. It's getting a sequel that's apparently, I think it's hitting Amazon Prime, last I remember, like Prime Video. So there's that. Rhythm Section is the one real like, well, besides Green Lantern, the one real disaster here because this movie had such a horrendous opening. I think it was the worst ever for a movie in like 3,000 theaters at the time. Yeah, it was. Well, up with 2.7 million. I'm just like, damn. Probably didn't help that the movie, like the rhythm section, when I hear that, I think of music. I don't think of a an action thriller. Okay, so that title might have done the movie in. And then a whole lot of nothing until well, there was If, which also starred Ryan Reynolds, but that was like I think it was a voiceover role. Now here we are with It Ends With Us. So Blake Lively, her box office track record is quite all right, especially for movies that where like she was like the main face. So that definitely shows she has some star power to her, and her star power is really going to shine with this movie, judging by the early numbers I've seen, box office wise. But yeah, Blake Lively, I'd label her as a pro. Another pro is that while reviews for this movie, like they're not okay, reviews they're not terrible. They're just kind of extremely mediocre, but audience score is much better. As a 94%. So it tells me the people who are watching this movie really like it. And Cinema Score also says the same thing and got an A minus. So general word of mouth amongst audiences is that this movie's all right. So that's a pro. Another pro is that when it comes to like movies, we haven't had really much, too many female centric movies or movies that are specifically geared towards a female audience this summer. I mean, I know. Think, what about Furiosa and Quiet Place Day One and the Twisters? They all had female protagonists. Yeah, they did, but they were aimed more towards either. Well, Furiosa was very much aimed towards a male demographic, but Quiet Place and Twisters were more like evened out between genders. This is very much female centric. We haven't had too many female centric movies come out recently. Obviously, last year we had Barbie, which was the big movie of 2023. So yeah, I imagine, there's probably a bit of demand, a bit of for a movie like this out there because the female demographic has very much been kind of underserved. This summer, hell, I could say this whole year. So yeah, I'd say this coming out is like a good thing. So I say like the lack of female centric movies this year is kind of like propping this one up. It's propping, it's like I guess it's making it more desirable in a way. So I'd label that as a pro. Another pro is that Thursday preview numbers are really, really good. Open with 7 million Thursday previews. Like that is quite high for a movie like this. I mean, for comparisons, like I'm not comparing this to Deadpool and Wolverine. I know, they have, well, is it really a spoiler? I mean, the movie's been out for like 3 weeks. You all probably know. If okay? I won't say anything. But, I'll once I make my August recap, then I'll mention the spoiler. But trying to think of a movie I can compare this to. I mean, for like preview wise, I mean there's Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. There's Bad Boys. Bad Boys Ride or Die. These are just like action movies, franchise action movies. So Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. What was this Thursday preview number? 6.6. And that included like I think extra day of previews. So that was 6.6. That opened with 58 million. Then you had Bad Boys Ride or Die, another action movie. That had preview numbers of 5.875. That opened with 56 million. So this paints a really good picture for a movie like It Ends With Us having better preview numbers than two mega budget action movies based off of franchises that are, because long in the tooth. Like that is remarkable. And yeah, I mean, what else can I say? These preview numbers are fantastic. It paints a really good picture. So, gonna label that as a pro. Another pro is that direct competition, there really isn't anything out there. Definitely not going to be anything out there next week or anything really substantial like for the next while. I don't even know when another movie like this is going to come out. So the lack of real serious competition. I mean, I guess there's Deadpool and Wolverine. Obviously, that still has a pulse. But besides that, there really isn't anything that'll hurt this movie at all. And even then, Deadpool and Wolverine won't hurt this movie. So yeah, lack of serious competition. I'll label that as a pro. And I think that's it with pros. Okay, cons. I mean, the reviews aren't very well. They're not terrible, but they're not great. 56%. That's the type of score that's like this movie. It's watchable, but it's not great. So, but it's not a serious con. So it's kind of more of a minor con in this sense. Another con is that, from what I know from It Ends With Us, via watching the trailer in front of some movies, one of the things about this movie is that it revolves around domestic abuse. Not exactly the type of subject that makes people want to go to the theater. Doesn't exactly scream fun night at the movies. So that type of aspect could be a turn off. But the thing is, the movie's not really like, at least advertising wise, it's not really showing that, which I kind of get, but I feel like people who aren't like in the know, who don't really know about It Ends With Us, it might they might be in for a bit of a shock, maybe. But yeah, so like the subject matter isn't the most appealing in the world for obvious reasons. So I guess that's a bit of a con. I guess another con is that because this movie has the potential to be very front loaded, even with word of mouth being solid. This movie has a hardcore fan base via the book, and we've had several movies in the past that are like this, where they're based off a book, a hella popular book, and all the fans go to see the movie, at least opening day, and then it just crumbles afterwards. Seen that with the Twilight movies, seen that with 50 Shades movies, although those movies kind of plummeted after opening weekend. Then we also seen that with Fault in Our Stars. Fault in Our Stars is actually a really good comparison to this. It's a really good example of how, the fangirl effect, if you will, how that really works. So I'm going to pull it up. Well, because, Fault in Our Stars, it's about cancer. Again, not a very appealing subject. But Fault in Our Stars, I remember this. This was big. This had so much hype surrounding it. Like, fans of the book were going crazy. And because of that craze, it had a really strong Thursday night and opening day. And then it just fucking tanked on Saturday. Fell like half. Lost half of its box office, like, from day one to day two. And ended up having a very front-load opening weekend. It was able to stabilize afterwards. But yeah, like that opening weekend number and how its journey, during opening weekend tells you like how serious the fangirl effect can really be. Will the same thing happen with It Ends With Us? Quite possibly. But yeah, I'm just gonna say, this movie having such a rabid fan base can be a positive and a negative. It can be a positive because it could lead to more money, but it could be a negative because it can burn out much faster. Because there's going to be a lot of demand for day one and not much else for the rest of its run. So, yeah, say the fangirl effect, the potential fangirl effect, that's a con. And I think that's it. So opening weekend, this is projected to hit the mid 40s. So about 45 mils. I'm just gonna say 45 to 50 mil because there's a chance this movie could shoot higher. Maybe it could defy the fangirl effect thing I was talking about. Probably not. I still think this is going to be front loaded. At least opening weekend it will be. But I'm going to say 45 to 50 million, which would be phenomenal for a movie like this. It's been so long. So if you had a movie like this, you know, do as well as it is, like it's kind of crazy. um its final total, its overall legs shouldn't be that bad. I don't think it's going to be like Borderlands where that movie is likely going to fall off the face of the earth after opening weekend. This won't have to deal with that issue. Not to mention the rest of August is real light when it comes to desirable movies. So I'd say, I don't know, 100+ million. If it can do that, that'd be great. Because I was wondering, I didn't think any movie from August was going to hit 100 million, but it seems like this will. So that's good. So yeah, 100 million plus. I'm gonna just go with that, just to be real safe. And that's it for this weekend. Yeah, it ends with us. His overperformance is literally the only thing that's making this weekend really interesting, because Borderlands, that was doomed to flop, and Cuckoo, no one really cares about that too much. But this weekend's all about it ends with us easily. So now we move on to next week. We have Alien Romulus, which I thought would be the hit of August. It's not going to be anymore. I'm not sure how that will do. It has a lot of positives to it, but a lot of negatives as well. So it's hard to say how it'll be success, how it'll be, how its box office will be. It's very hard to say. I don't know about the rest of these movies. I'm not confident in some of these movies being wide releases. I hope some of these movies are. I really don't want to talk about Ryan's World. I'm crossing my fingers I don't. But you never know. And then the rest of August is just gonna be miserable, because there's like 4 movies. August 30th, I have 6 fucking movies to do. 6, man. 6. Like, hell no. That's like my worst nightmare. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to the next few weeks of box office prediction videos, but I'm gonna do them. So stay tuned for all those videos. But yeah, so that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. You want to check out more videos like this? Got playlists on the homepage. All previous prediction videos I made this year, the past few years. You want to watch any of them? Go right ahead. There's also the canceled series where I went over all the movies that are supposed to come out but didn't. I think I've talked about this movie twice. Okay, I've talked about it twice, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. So the first time was episode 227. I talked about it alongside Michael, Exorcist Deceiver, a movie that no longer exists, and Abigail. And that was when this movie was supposed to come out like in February, but then it got pushed to June because of the strikes that were going on. So that was the first time I talked about it. The second time was episode 243. That's when it got delayed to August. And I also talked about the Avatar Aang movie, whatever that is, The Wild Robot, and Transformers 1. Apparently, I also talked about Project Hail Mary and an untitled live-action comedy from Trey Parker and Matt Stone. So, yeah. Those are the 2 times I really talked about It Ends With Us. Did I talk about it one other time? I don't think I did. No. That was it. Just those 2 times. So yeah, if you want to watch those cancel episodes or all the 50 episodes I've made, you want to binge them all, go right ahead. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. My July recap, I just made that yesterday. My August recap will be in the beginning of September, so between September 6th and the 13th. And my summer recap will be like at the end of September. So stay tuned for those videos. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.